Okay, this is my new building terrain. Let's see if I can get it in the camera here. The intent is for this to be for above ground buildings, wood floor, kind of a either adobe or concrete wall depending on how it's painted, with wood boards. Obviously the guys are rather crude construction people. For the doorways, I'm not putting the door in. All I'm going to do is to use pre-existing doors. This happens to be from Legendary Realms, but you could cast your own. I don't know if it's the exact same style, but something very similar in Hirst Arts. I chose a little bit more of a decorative style on the corners, just to give it a little bit of flair rather than be totally basic. But what I wanted to show in the video was what it's like to demold the mold. You can see how big it is. The mold's poured from the top, so it's got about ½ an inch open at the bottom beneath the top of the wall. They're poured flat, so the bottom is smooth. I use a plaster type knife to run across the top and smooth it out. It's actually this way in the side, so the center is open, and you can see I put a big opening. I used a clear piece of just a plastic container when I poured the mold, just so I had a hollow, so I didn't waste as much of the silicone. So let me pull this out. I happen to use some small pieces to glue this onto, so they kind of give me an indicator, because that particular piece is a pain in the butt to get out. That has the two pieces, and it's more dangerous to take out because it's less strength on the pieces. So let me remove them. I'm going to start with these two because they happen to be corners, or maybe I have that backwards. This is a corner. So let me see if I can do this on video here. What I do is I pull the sides back just to free up the space, so the silicone no longer holds strength on it, and then I'm pushing with my thumbs on the bottom underneath the walls, so it's pushing it forward. I continue putting pressure with one thumb and then wiggle it out, and there you go. We've got a wall piece, or a corner piece I should say. That's been sitting about 2 hours because of my workout this morning. This is the next corner piece. Again, I'm pushing on the bottom, so it's popping it out as much as I can. Note that the silicone will weaken over time and become more rubbery, more flexible. It's still pretty new. I just had it finished as of last night and poured my first time real late last night, so this rubber is very new. Again, I'm pushing with my left thumb and pulling out with the right. These take a little bit of work to get out because you've got the ledges are hooking on here. So when you've got the mold, they catch. You can see here where it's catching on the inside. So unlike a lot of standard terrain pieces where you get flat walls, these come out a little bit harder. These two are normal walls. One of them has the window piece on it. Again, I'm pushing with my thumbs just to force it up a little bit, hooking it with my fingers now. Okay, well, I'm going to continue this on my phone because my iPad filled up. So looking at the pieces, we still have the 3 left. This one is one of the wall pieces. So I am again pulling back, pushing up with my thumbs to work the piece out as much as I can, and then kind of working the piece to get it out of the popped out pieces. Now you can see this one, it's got some pretty deep areas. This is the one that this is intended to be a window, and I'm going to pop that out. I'll grab a chisel and see about knocking it out on camera here to see how hard that'll be. Let me get the other pieces out first. This is another wall piece. Again, pulling the side, pushing out with my thumbs, and then just prying it out. This one comes out a little bit easier because all of the lines or the poles are sticking straight up, so it comes out easier. And the last one's going to be a pain in the butt because there are two, it's this shape faced down like this. And you do want it out at the edge because you want the thinner part of the silicone there, and it's pretty thick in this area. I probably should have run something all the way over to waste less rubber, but oh well. So I'm pushing up. Unfortunately, because of the thickness of the rubber beneath, I don't have a lot of leeway, and I can't pull the piece like I did with the other one because there's two prongs and it'll snap one of them. So I kind of have to work this one just a little bit, and I'm trying to push with my thumb because this piece has these two lips on it. And I just snapped something. Okay, you can see the other part of the piece. It's not too big of a deal. In this particular case, it came out close enough where I can get it out with my fingers. You can use pliers if you need to, however, you risk damaging the piece. So we get this off. It's really not a big deal in this particular case. Take some glue and face it the correct way. And voila, we get a piece, no big deal. So that is the finished piece with walls. I've got one with the two floor pieces. These pop out because they're so thin, there's absolutely no problems with it at all. If you're wondering why these two look a little bit different in colors, this is Mold Max 30 with Fast Cat 30 and I used 15 parts per 100, so it dried in about 30 minutes. This one was used with the standard Part B, 10 parts per 100, and it takes about a day, 16 to 24 hours. So, what I had been doing with the window piece was taking this, and I've got very thin areas, and I was just cutting them. I did that with toothpicks and then glued it in place. However, it's really kind of a pain to get out of there. So, what I am looking for, I don't see my chisel around. I'm going to be aggressive and just for the heck of it, try jabbing with my, just a sharp pointy. I would hunt down one of my chisels, but I don't want to waste the time on camera. Alright, I went and got a chisel. This is a standard tool, rather small head, very sharp, and a hammer. I'm going to lay this flat so that the strongest part is on the tabletop to decrease the chances of it damaging anything else. And I can already break through it. Chisels are great tools for this type of thing. And go the other side. In fact, the hazard to say that the chisel works far, far better. That took about a quarter or an eighth of the time as trying to dig it out with a hobby knife. Now I will take a hobby knife and just smooth out the edges of the window on the inside. See if I can do this on camera. If you're going to play with a hobby knife like this though, kind of make sure that your fingers aren't going to be in the way. Most of these are pretty sharp. I assume that most hobbyists know this type of thing, but you never know. And there you go. We've got a finished window. Somebody did ask me on the Facebook page for the Hirst Arts, did I have any problems with anything on the finished areas. Since it's face down, I think they were asking about, was there a problem with the Merlin's Magic going up? And there's not a problem with the details on those parts. However, there was one a little bit here. I think that was knocked out more because of my chisel work though. But the piece came out pretty good. I'm fine with a little bit of damage just because this is supposed to be a rustic old building in some kind of a village somewhere, so not too worried about that. And sticking the pieces together, we get every casting. I feel like I'm missing one. Yes, I am. Every casting does that much of a building. So every 2 castings I'll have for sure one medieval sized building. I say 2 pourings because I get 2 walls per pour, or 2 corners per pouring. And just this morning I've poured 3 times and I've got this much already poured plus that. So it's gathering up pretty darn quick. So thanks for watching. Feel free to ask any questions on the Hirst Arts forum. My name's Kevin Rao, and talk to you later.